something that happened
Lord have mercy.
in the past. I'm not going to be like my dad. And so, because you trying so hard to not.
Yes, I.
Or worse, it's literally got you clipping your family. But God put you in a position where you didn't have to be, but you so blinded by what you trying not to be that you can't see that you in a better position. You don't have to turn that in and get paid for that. I just turn mine in and get paid for it. Man, why ain't you took your children somewhere? They pretty much mad with you, claiming you don't ever spend no time or anything, and you had it. But he said, I turned it in so they can pay me for it. I'm telling y'all, we tripping. We tripping. We messing up. We messing up. We messing up. It's idolatry. Idolizing not. I ain't gonna be like that. Yep. Idolatry. It's another one. Witchcraft. Now, what did y'all think when you thought of that? You saw somebody doing some hocus pocus, didn't you? Automatically in your mind, didn't you? You saw somebody doing some hocus pocus. That's witchcraft. That's what you thinking. First thing on witchcraft. Take the two words, witch and craft. It's an action. Crafty literally means it can come from a thought. Jacob was called crafty, and it was because of his thought pattern, the way he done things. He was so crafty, he was able to literally, someone that does a craft means that they specialize in this particular thing. So that means that this person, this witch, specializes in this particular thing. This is the whole motive of it. So witchcraft. So I specialize in this particular thing. So I could specialize in a particular thing, y'all. And my specialty could be that I'm just going to be a negative person all the time. I'm specializing in it. That's my craft. Anytime somebody come around positive, I jump negative. Because I'm specializing in my craft. Witchcraft. Somebody that walks in bitterness, unforgiveness, whatever it is that they choose to specialize in, they're working a craft. Because they're literally trying to figure how to make that thing effective. Help me, Pastor Lee, I will. If they're working in a craft of being negative, no matter how much positive you talk to them, what they going to do? They'll be negative, ain't they? Witchcraft. How much of the world have you changed? How much of the world have you changed? Hatred. Hatred. When we first think of hate, some of us thought, that ain't good to do. I ain't gonna hate nobody now. That ain't good to do. Hatred ain't good, and that's true. It's not. hatred. But you got to understand when it talks about the works of the flesh, what type of hatred is it talking about? It's literally talking about having a literal despise or an opposition against anything that would be good. Hatred. Hatred. To literally become so angry with, to the point that you would cause destruction or desire to see destruction. Anytime it comes across your head that you hope something happened to somebody, that's hatred. That's hatred. That's a work of the flesh. I have literally heard people say, I hope God get them. Now, that is being used in a wrong context. Very much so wrong. Now, it would be feasible to say, you're going to reap what you sow. But to say, I hope God get them, is coming from a whole nother place. That's coming from a place of hatred. Because what that means is now a negative emotion has been attached to what I've said. And I'm saying it in a manner of using God as a weapon against you. And now I'm making a good God look like he's a bad God. I'm making a compassionate God looks like he is a devilish God. A merciful God look as though he's an unmerciful God. Because I'm saying, oh God, I hope God gets you. I hope God gets you. No, it's good to say the Lord gonna deal with them concerning that. Because he will. That's appropriate. Or to say, you're going to reap what you sow. That's appropriate too. But to say, I hope God get them, that's coming from a whole nother place. That's coming from a whole nother realm. That's a wrong spirit. That's from the spirit of hatred. And the Bible says, if you hate your brother, you've already murdered your brother. So you're literally saying, I hope they die. Think about the context of, I hope God get them. You're not saying, I hope God go over there and be sweet to them. You're not saying, I hope God go over there and just hold them and just rock them in his arms. No, you're saying, I want him to kill them. Ouch. Ouch. Hatred. How much of the world have you changed? I told y'all we got to be safe. This ain't nothing but helping us become more safe. That's all it's doing. Changing up our tongue. Changing up our thoughts and the way we're doing things. God is even saying to us, enjoy your life. Get your butt out and enjoy your life. Next one is variance. This is Galatians 5:20. Next is variance. All right, so when we get off into variance, we're going to take the word vary. So for something to vary, that means that is consistently changing, right? It's consistently changing. That is a work of the flesh. That is a work of the flesh. Not stable. James attacks that when he says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So variance is a work of the flesh. Don't know which way you're going. It all depends on how things are. On how you behave, how you act. It all depends on what you feel like. Or it all depends. Let me say something to y'all. Listen, if you handle people based off of how they handle you, you gonna be up and down all the time. If you handle people based off how they handle you, you're going to be up and down all the time. Because on the day that they don't handle you right, you might have woke up that morning feeling good. You ready to have you a good day. You done got up saying, Lord, I want to thank you. Ready to have a good day. But because you live your life based on how they treat you, now they do something crazy. Well, what you finna do? You finna do something crazy too. So if you live your life based on how other people treat you, you're going to be in variance all the time. You've got to become stable in what it is that you do, regardless of how they respond, regardless of how they react. You've got to become stable. You've got to. You've got to become stable. You've got to always cause them to have to look back at themselves so that they can see the error of their ways. If you come at me and then I turn around and come back at you, both of us gonna both be seeing the same thing. You gonna be thinking that that you were justified in how you handled me, and I'm gonna be thinking that I'm justified in how I handled you. But the Bible says something that I ran across some years ago, that I was mad when I ran across it, because I knew when I ran across it, I now got to live by it. But it says a soft answer turns away anger. So that meant that I couldn't respond to them the way they responded to me. So if you respond to people, deal with people solely based on how they deal with you, that's why you up and down all the time. That's why it seems like every time something getting better, something kick off, you toe up again. Because you're in variation. You're not solid. You're not stable. That's the reason why. But now you want to blame it on the devil. You want to say that it's the devil. It's not the devil. It's this thing called life. Some days are going to be better than others. Some days there are going to be days where people are going to just, you ain't up for it today now. You just ain't with it today. There's some days I get up, I'm with the foolery. Bring it, baby. I'm ready. But then there's some days I ain't with the foolery. I ain't up for it. So it's just life. It's just the way life is. Even as the body changes, it brings about different things. Some days you don't feel good. I've been going through a situation here the past few weeks where I ain't felt really like Delphine, so to speak. I functioned, but I could tell that it wasn't I didn't feel really like myself, so to speak, or whatever. So it's like you have different things that go on with you as life begins to change as you get older. You maybe don't feel, like dealing with as much as what you used to. And that's just called life. That does not mean that we got to mistreat each other. That's just life. You learn to adjust to those things. Nobody feels the same all the time. You just learn to adjust to those things. But if you don't learn to adjust to those things and maybe see exactly what's going on with the person, then what you're going to do is you're going to allow it to change you. And now all before you know it, there go a whole bunch of hell done kicked off. Now the whole atmosphere is all messed up. The whole environment is all thrown off now because you done got shifted. When in fact, it's just that the person don't feel good today. Or they really, they got a lot of thought going on in their head today. So you just have to really try to see what's going on. So it's not always the devil. It's not. It's not always the enemy. But if you don't become stable in that,